Hello everyone, welcome back. Tom with Capo Fetish. Happy 2024. It's time for Vinyl Tag 2024. These are questions that Rob Walker has presented to the vinyl community, and a wide range of music related questions. So I've got 20 questions to answer here. I'm going to start here with number one. What was my favorite purchase of 2023? Well, that would probably be this really cool 5 CD set of Howlin' Wolf. It has Moanin' in the Moonlight, Howlin' Wolf, The Real Folk Blues, More Real Folk Blues, and Big City Blues. 5 excellent blues albums. They're a very good price. I think I got this maybe 12, 14 bucks. Great stuff. Number 2 question, last purchase in 2023. Well, I haven't even opened it yet. I got it at the tail end of December, but I've heard a few tracks online digitally. And that's the Joni Mitchell Archives Volume 2, the Asylum Years 72 through 75. This is my favorite period of Joni Mitchell's music. For the Roses, Court and Spark, Hissing of Summer Lawns. There's just a plethora of amazing stuff on here. A complete show from 72, where Crosby and Nash make an appearance at the end for a couple encores. And then there's just tons of demos for all 3 of those albums. And live stuff from 74 from the Court and Spark tour. So just a lot of stuff to dig into here. This is the first box set I bought of Joni Mitchell. I almost bought the second one because it had a lot of the blues stuff on it, but I went ahead and did this one because I love this particular period of Joni Mitchell, the early Asylum years. So I can't wait to sink my teeth into this soon. Question number 3, band that released 2 albums in 1 year. Here's 2 5-star albums released in 1967. You got The Doors' debut, which was released in January of 67, and then later in the year, Strange Days. So those are 2 albums released in the same year, 1967. If you could listen to music from one decade, what would it be? Well, you know, I grew up in the 70s as kind of a child, and in the 80s I was kind of going from a child into teenage years, but I have to say the music that made the most impression on me of all time is the 60s. I grew up with 60s music from the time I was born. I heard it growing up in the house. So and there's so much to listen to in the 60s. When I look at the 60s, it's like 3 decades in one. You've got the early 60s, which is still kind of like late 50s, a lot of just, oddball tunes, Ruby and the Romantics, Our Day Will Come. You've got Frankie Avalon type stuff, and then British Invasion hit, completely new era started, and then kind of slipping into psychedelia, and then the late 60s was a whole different thing, and album rock and the whole thing. So I just think the 60s offers a whole spectrum. Plus you have Motown, you have great soul, you've got funk, you've got jazz at its peak. So 1960s for me would be the year or the decade for me. Show a Manchester band, it'd have to be the Smiths, my favorite Manchester band. By the way, I did a video on 1985 a few months back, and I put Meat is Murder in the top 10. And I was trying to figure out what version of Meat is Murder live I liked, and it's on this extended EP here. Meat is Murder recorded live at Oxford. That is, to me, is the definitive version of the song. Great, great version with Johnny Marr just going off on those cool rhythms. So yeah, the Smiths from Manchester. By the way, this is the Headmaster Ritual EP, extended EP with Nowhere Fast, Stretch Out and Wait, and Shakespeare's Sister, and the live version of Meat is Murder. Let's see. What album or what artist did you listen to most in 2023? Well, that would be late jazz artist, Wayne Shorter. I've been listening to all of his great 60s, mid-60s albums all year. Just been binging on it. I just listened to this one today, Adam's Apple. And then you've got The Soothsayer, Speak No Evil, one of the greatest jazz albums ever. You've got Night Dreamer and Juju. And I've been spinning or playing all 5 of these all through 2023, and I'm sure I'll be playing a lot more in 2024. Let's see, show 7-inch 45s. How about Los Lobos, Will the Wolves Survive? You got Hoodoo Gurus, Bittersweet. How about the Pretenders, Day After Day? Right here. World Party, great song from the 80s. All Come True. Smithereens, Behind the Wall of Sleep, and Blood and Roses. Prince, Kiss. And Graham Parker and the Rumor, Local Girls, great song from 79. 4 music people coming to party in the music biz, from the music biz. I would definitely have Ray Davies, as some people say. John Lennon, if he was around. Laura Nyro, she was around. And Hendrix. Those would be my 4 people I would have hanging out with at a party. Sadly, we lost them in 2023. We lost a lot of great ones in 2023. The one that really blew me away right from the start, it was almost like a year ago, was Jeff Beck. Such an amazing artist. I couldn't believe it. He was just out playing, like, literally, it seemed like weeks or a month prior to his death. I had no idea that he had anything wrong with him, but he's a legend. He's a one-off. No one will ever compare it to his originality. I mean, everybody has their own original type of playing, but Jeff really stood apart in the 60s from a lot of players. He didn't have a lot of good songwriting chops, but he could play the hell out of any tune thrown at him. Whereas, Jimmy Page had a lot of songwriting chops and arranging. But I think Jeff Beck was, next to Hendrix, one of the most original players that came out of the 60s. So, miss Jeff a lot, but we still have the music. If I could only listen to music from one country, what would it be? Well, Britain. Britain has, America has produced so many great acts. But Britain, for me, the Beatles, the Kinks, the Stones, the Who, and through the 70s, you got Bowie and you got T-Rex. And in the 90s, you have the Smiths. So, on and on and on. So many great acts from Britain. So many that have been so influential to me as a musician and just as a music fanatic. That's probably my favorite country I would listen to music from. Vinyl Community Discovery Channel. So there's 3 I've been watching quite a bit in 2023. One is called Classic Album Review. This British guy named Barry. Really, really clever guy. Has a lot of great videos and content regarding classic rock. He's very dry and very humorous. I really enjoy his channel. There's another great one called Yesterday's Papers. Great channel. A lot goes into this channel. They dig out all these old files from the 60s. Sometimes they focus on a year. What singles were playing in April '66. And they go back and they talk about the singles. They show the charts, the actual charts, what was on the charts in British and U.S. It's really put together really well. I highly recommend Yesterday's Papers for anybody who's really into 60s music. And then there's this really cool channel. It doesn't get enough attention. It's called 10-Minute Record Reviews. I forgot who it is exactly, what his name is, but his reviews are only 10 minutes long. He does a lot of jazz. He does do some classic rock, but the reviews are very succinct. They're very spot on. Guy knows his shit. It's just great. So check it out. It's called 10-Minute Record Reviews. Great channel. Album I bought as a teenager. I bought so many albums as a teenager. So I just picked this one out of the blue. This was my first Stones album I ever bought. Hot Rocks. This is such a great entry to the Stones. If no one's ever heard the Stones or wanting to get into the Stones, this is a good one. So this is one I bought, I think, at age 14 at a local record shop in Northridge, at the time called the Record Mall. They were only around for a couple years, but yeah, this is one of them. Let's see, Show Some Soul or Funk. Well, it doesn't really get much better than this box set from Soul Brother #1, Star Time. This is my all-time favorite box set. Every track is amazing. James Brown was an amazing singles artist, and you've got 4 discs of amazing singles, plus some, sporadic live cuts. But this is one of the greatest, most uplifting box sets you'll ever listen to. The musicianship on here is just absolutely stellar. James Brown, one of the greatest artists of all time. This will just lift your spirits. And for me, this it doesn't get much better than this when it comes to soul. The James Brown Star Time box set. All right, let's see, where are we? Number 14, show a record that everyone has in their collection. Well, I think a lot of people have Tapestry by Carole King, but I don't think many people have this album. This is a singer-songwriter from 1973. He was signed to Elektra Records. It's a really a great album. This guy named Dana Cooper. I'm sure he was promoted somewhat back then, but it's a real unknown gem. If you ever stumble upon it, check it out. But I don't think many people have this. So this is Dana Cooper, his solo album. This is a cutout years ago that we found. And yeah, I don't think many people do have this. If you do have it, let me know. I'd love to know. Let's see. Show an album by a female artist you bought in 2023. I bought this Janis Joplin, Big Brother and the Holding Company live at Winterland 68. And it is just killer. Been wanting it for years, finally bought it. A great set over the course of 2 days at Winterland. Just amazing versions of Down on Me, Summertime, probably an early live take of Piece of My Heart. Great stuff here from Janis and Big Brother. Let's see. Favorite video you made. Favorite video I made was a video a few months back called Birth of a Record Collection. I talked about how I began buying records at an early age at like 5 years old, 6 years old. And that, I think that it came out pretty well, and I think it was pretty informative. And then another one that I really liked was this one by this channel called The Beatles Bible. Really cool channel, and it's how they made Revolver. So they go really into depth on how Revolver was constructed, written, recorded. Really cool video. So that's that. Let's see if I've missed anything here. Sure. Okay. Show a 90s classic album. This is number 17. Question. Matthew Sweet's Girlfriend. This is one of my top 3 90s albums. Just a flawless power pop record with a lot of great ballads as well. Flawless stuff. Matthew Sweet, brilliant. He's put out a lot of albums over the years, but nothing's really quite compared to this gem. Matthew Sweet, Girlfriend from 1991. An album cover you can walk into. Well, I looked into my ECM collection, or Warner Brothers collection, and I kind of like this Pat Metheny and Lyle Mays picture here. As Falls, Wichita, so Falls, Wichita Falls. I do a lot of road trips, so I can picture myself walking into that cover, being in a car, driving through the desert, which my wife and I have done many times on road trips. So that's that one. And then an album that feels like greatest hits. This is question number 19. I would have to pick Are You Experienced by Hendrix. Just about every tune on here is a hit and plays like a hit. And I don't think Third Stone from the Sun would be quite a hit, but everything else on here is totally a hit. And then the final question, number 20, an album that turns 40 from 1974. I'm going to go with Genesis. The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, an absolute classic art rock / prog rock album. An album I've been playing for probably close to 40 years. Probably more like 35 years. But yeah, fantastic record. I think this is their highlight of the Peter Gabriel era. Gabriel's best singing, Phil Collins' best drumming. Just a flawless album. Yes, side 3 and 4 are a little more difficult to get into than side 1 and 2. But there's a lot of gems and hidden treats. But side 1 and 2 of this album is probably the best moments of Genesis for me. That's aside from maybe Supper's Ready. There's just side 1 and 2 just flow so well. So there's my 20 questions, and I look forward to more content coming up here in this next month. I'll let you know what's coming up as soon as I know. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I appreciate all the nice comments. So that's it for now. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.